Today I want to talk about Vinyl Me Please, their path towards becoming more audiophile, and why ultimately I have dropped them as of 2021. I think Vinyl Me Please has done a lot of wonderful things, but there's some things recently that, like a lot of you, is the main reason why I've dropped them. But I do want to focus specifically on jazz music in this video and what they've done in terms of jazz, and they've done some great stuff. But just to kick things off, so they did not start out as an essentials club, so to speak. So they were, when they first started out, they were shipping regular issue records, and so one of the first jazz titles they dropped was this one by Thelonious Monk, which is Paris 1969, mastered by Doug Sax. If there is a latter era Thelonious Monk concert to get, it is this one. I do recommend it, but their first exclusive pressing was this one, which is Ben Webster's Soulville. The music is incredible. The pressing, they did some unique things with the center label, which I have to applaud them on, but the pressing was done probably by United. There's all kinds of non-fill. There's also kind of a wavy pattern, which you'll see, which is a problem either with the plating, sending the back down of the plate, but for me it's more likely as a result of the cooling and the heating process of the record when it's pressed. So I am happy I have this music on vinyl, but the pressing is a little bit to be desired. You don't even know who mastered it, but they do have this Obi, or the Obi strip, which is unique to them, with a cocktail, and the record of the month, which later became the Essentials, all have some exclusive artwork. Now in 2017 they branched out into 3 separate club selections, so to speak. They have the classics, which focuses on jazz, soul, and blues, a little bit of gospel. You have the Essentials, which is just a smorgasbord of genres, which is one of the frustrations, which I'll get into. And then you have hip-hop, which is very genre specific. But the first classic one was this one by Archie Shepp on Impulse. They got Kevin Gray to master this one, and it sounds fantastic. They just did it on cardstock though. Now, the nice thing about the classics in concept is the exclusive liner notes that come with these guys. I like these, but I do not like the execution. So the book, when you slide it in with the vinyl, it has the propensity just to warp the record, which is why I don't like it. So my recommendation back to them, do it on a 1 sheet, maybe license an exclusive photo, and call it good. Don't, books are nice, but again, it leads to warped records, so stop doing it, please. They got better as time progressed, and so they put out this one by Max Roach, which is Percussion Bittersweet. Now, I don't know who mastered this one, but they got the gatefold right. It's done on a 180 gram Stoughton jacket, just wonderful pressing. But it's just some of the inconsistencies which we even see today. Now they've done some wonderful exclusive pressing. So they were paying attention to what Analog Productions and Music Matters were doing. So this is Johnny Griffin's Blowing Session, which features John Coltrane and Hank Mobley. 45 RPM on colored wax. You got this orange colored wax, mastered by Kevin Gray, but no Stoughton jacket. And here we have the Music Matters version of the same album, Stoughton jacket, mastered by Kevin Gray, wonderful gatefold. So did we really need another version of this? Because I don't even think this guy was sold out at the time that this one came out. And this features a little bit better graphics. Yeah, so you know they improved over time though. So they came out with Eddie Gale's Ghetto Music. Again, this has a Stoughton jacket, mastered by Kevin Gray. 45 RPM, sounds fantastic. And then later they put out Donald Byrd's Stepping in Tomorrow, mastered by Kevin Gray, 45 RPM, Stoughton jacket. This one has not been done. I was happy that they came out with this, and you know they scored a musical cue with this one. So this is John Coltrane and Miles Davis. This was one of the last concerts that John Coltrane ever did with Miles Davis, in Miles Davis's last great quintet in Paris, 1960. This was the only way to get this guy on vinyl. Don't know who mastered it. It's not on a Stoughton jacket, but I am happy to have this on wax. You know, they came out with their first box set this year. Or not this year, but the first box set that they came out with was the Blue Note 80. And yeah, wonderful slipcover, featured 5 different records. Everything was mastered by Kevin Gray. You know, Dexter Gordon, you had Horace Silver, you got this one, which is a double album. And I'm glad they went beyond the normal 60s and 50s. So you got this later area, Bobby Hutcherson, Wayne Shorter's Schizophrenia, which has not been done before, and Lou Donaldson, The Natural Soul. Now, they screwed up on a couple of things. So they got the jacket incorrect with Dexter Gordon. So this was a big whoops. It didn't have the original notes on it, so they sent a replacement jacket free of charge. So I do give them kudos for their customer service. So when they screw up, they definitely make amends for it. So that's one of the perks of being with the club. Now, why am I dropping them? Let me get into that a little bit. So the last record that I got in terms of the essentials was Lady Sings the Blues. Now, remember, the essentials is just a smorgasbord of genres. So you're getting blues, you're getting jazz on the classic side, you're also getting it on the essential side. So here's another one. So they have the hip-hop portion of the club, but this came out in the essential. So again, I'm not the biggest hip-hop fan. There was some stuff I liked. I happen to like this one, so I was happy this one came out. But you know, for some people, it's a bit of frustration because you're double dipping. It's like you get 2 hip-hops, and if I'm not a hip-hop, then I have the option to swap out. But sometimes even what they have to offer in terms of swaps is not that exciting. I mean, you got these up-and-coming indie bands, but like take this one for example, Chai. Here is their price. Now, if I go to Bandcamp, I can get it $10 cheap, colored wax even. You know, they've done some good stuff. So like they came out with this Jazz Dispensary stuff, which is lesser known prestige titles, mastered by Kevin Gray, on 180 gram Stoughton cover. So again, they're getting somewhat consistent, but you know, I just can't stick around with a club that, you know, if I do a swap, here I'm getting a lesser quality record, and yet I can get a Tone Poet for 27 bucks. Stoughton jacket, wonderful mastering, pressed on 180 gram. But, you know, Vinyl Me Please, it's like, sometimes you get a product of this quality, but there's no consistency about it. I dropped because of John Prine. And no offense to the folks that like John Prine. I recognize him for the great artist he is, but that was the end of the line for me. It's like, I wish the essentials would be more genre focused. I mean, I get there are people that are like country and alt country, but you know, maybe you branch out again. You got the dedicated hip hop one, Maybe you do a dedicated alt-country folk. Maybe do a dedicated indie and rock, and not have this smorgasbord of stuff. Stop pressing on colored wax, or stop doing the exclusive artwork to bring the price down, because I can't justify spending $43 on a record that I may not spend. It just doesn't make sense. So I am happy that, you know, they did stuff like this, but, you know, I can't stick with them due to the lack of consistency. Now, don't get me wrong, I get the club model. You can't please everyone. I'm happy they have the swap, but I think there's some adjustments that they can make to the business model where, you know, they'd make more people happy. I mean, Columbia House, you could say, I like rock, so, you know, send me a rock record. I may not like it, but at least I know I'm getting something out of that genre. Or better yet, you know, just abandon the club model. I mean, you're essentially trending towards the audiophile realm, and it's like, they partnered with Kraft on this one. It's like, well, just, you know, have your own little audiophile subsection and, you know, stay focused on that. Don't even require people to be a member. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? You know, the price hike and the lack of consistency is what, you know, made me crazy. And I realize I'm not their focus at all. I think they're focusing on folks in their 20s and maybe mid-30s that are just, you know, looking to dabble in vinyl a bit. But, you know, I'm not, I'm their atypical person. But I think if they made some tweaks, I honestly think they'd be better in the long run. But anyway, what are your opinions? What are your thoughts? Shoot me some comments down below, and I'll catch you next time.
Child